मिस्टर सप्तऋषि जी, मैं उनके बारे में थोड़ा सा आप सभी लोगों को बताना चाहूँगा. He is graduate from in the Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Engineering. He is ex-director of Human Resources at the NTPC. He has a 39 years of experience in the power sector. So I would like to invite Mr. Saptarshi ji.
Very good afternoon to all of you for joining in this conversation, which to my mind is a very, very contextual conversation and relevant in the present times. My predecessor speakers have already narrated and set the context very well for the discussions, highlighting the kind of catastrophe and the devastation which has been unleashed by the present pandemic. And all of us are truly the witnessing and experiencing this day in, day out. And I think this is going to be one of our, very, very lifetime experiences, which certainly would not like to repeat in future. But nonetheless, I think this also provides us with an opportunity for learning. And therefore, from that standpoint, I think the entire conversation, I will try to limit it. One more thing I would like to suggest that while the topic is specifically, hinging towards the power sector, but to my mind, there are certain sets of competencies and the skill sets which are going to be very, very useful in times to come for the kind of changes and transformation that we are going to witness in the workplace and the work. So I would also touch upon briefly about those issues. So the past experience where we had seen that the large number of people have lost their life and the livelihood have truly created a very serious crisis across the globe, where threatening the entire very existence of mankind like never before. I think this is very, very unprecedented in nature. And the world of work is no exception to that. It has radically disrupted the entire work environment, the workforce, and the workplaces. I think this is what we are, one of us are experiencing, we are witnessing, and every day we are, seeing that in some way or the other about the changes which has taken place in the workplace. To start with, the boundaries which used to exist between the work life and the home life have been totally dissolved, as millions of co-workers are, suddenly doing life together, video conferencing into each other's, home offices, kitchens, and there is altogether a different kind of, work place which has emerged, which we had not, dreamt of before this pandemic. It also comes with a lot of, positivities. As we all know that when we talk about the workplaces, there is to be very strong biases against the working from home. But this pandemic has also proved that to be totally wrong. And my discussions with some of the corporates and some of the organizations have revealed that this remote method of working has, on contrary, improved the productivity in many cases, many instances. But when we talk about power sector, I think the very nature of the business demands that most of the work which we do at our workplaces are necessary need to be carried out by our physical presence at the designated workplace. While the impact of this work from home has its limited impact to the extent where the office work is involved. And there I find that it has truly redefined the way the organization used to function in the past and how they are functioning presently. So I think it's a great learning for all of us in terms of, how with one stroke of pandemic has totally changed the way the entire mankind used to lead their life. However, for both nature of work and the kind of, workforce which is required to do that work, I think the skill set is one common denominator which, to my mind, links both these entities. I think when we talk about the workforce and the nature of the work, the one common denominator is the skill sets of the people. And today, the businesses are fast recognizing this fact, the need for upskilling, reskilling, and redefining the jobs for the future of work. Mr. Bihari has very eloquently elaborated how the efforts towards reskilling and upskilling through power sector skill development councils have been initiated, which during this lockdown period has been, very, very adversely impacted. But I think if you look at the horizon, which is beyond the present pandemic, I think there is a great deal of opportunity which lies in this, critical, elements. Now, my experiences with power sector for nearly almost touching 4 decades as an active participant in the entire, growth journey of this sector suggests that the very ownership of the skill, and this topic which we are discussing today about the skill and its related, ecosystem, I think the ownership of this particular entity of skill has changed hand over a period of time. Particularly when I see when we joined this sector in the past, where most of the developmental initiatives imparting skills and knowledge to the workforce was primarily the responsibility of the enterprise, which owns the assets, whether it is, pre-employment training, or whether it is any kind of mid-term interventions or skill upgradation programs for their workforce. I think largely the enterprises created their own infrastructure and engaged the resource persons and the trainers to train these people, which was essentially done entirely mostly in-house. But with the increased pressure of this competition at the marketplace and need for higher productivity to remain competitive, I think one thing which has changed is the way the work is being carried out at the work place. And we have seen in the past a lot of such jobs which were being done by the enterprise themselves have been subsequently outsourced to an agency. But in the entire process of transfer of this job being done by in-house to an outsourced agencies, we have witnessed, a great erosion of the quality of the skill sets which is required to perform this job. This is my observation, and I think to a large extent, the people who are working in this sector for such a long time and who had seen this kind of journey for a very long time would tend to agree with me. Now, coupled to that, the kind of technological changes that we have seen, in this business have further added and altered this kind of, requirement for skill sets very, very significantly. So there was a problem of erosion of the skill sets by virtue of this, ownership change of the who is owning these skills or who is imparting these skills. And added to that, with these technological changes, we are seeing that the kind of skill sets which are required to actually deal with this cutting edge of the technology, I think that in absence of those people, there is a further impact in the way the skill requirement is being, is required to be met in this industry. So as a result, there exists a huge gap in this level of the skills at the, particularly at the last mile of delivery of this, where the creation of the value happens. So therefore, I think it's very, very important that how do we deal with this important element of skill within an organization is going to truly redefine the, the future success of the organizations. And when we talk about the skill ecosystem, one thing which comes to my mind that while there are innumerable factors which is impacting this ecosystem, but then broadly speaking, there are 3 significant dimensions to this ecosystem. One being the infrastructure, both physical as well as digital. The second thing is the presence of some kind of standardization of the skills. And third, the very skill itself. So infrastructure, standardization, and the skill forms 3 essential ingredients to constitute this ecosystem of skill sets. There is huge requirement to my mind to upgrade this infrastructure if I take up that as a first issue. And particularly, looking from the point of view of availability and access to that. We know that the one silver lining in this entire gloomy environment of pandemic is perforce we have seen everyone has been forced to adopt to digital practice, digital technology. And I think by adopting and embracing this digital technology, the need for physical, access or physical presence has been, greatly, replaced by this digital presence. So with this kind of facilitation by the digital technology, while the access becomes relatively much easier, but then to have this access, there are other requirements of, say, for example, availability of the, internet access, the availability of the power for, accessing that, or availability of some of the gadgets and the equipments in order to access that. So therefore, these are some of the areas which requires immediate attention, because while we look at the kind of challenges and the constraints which the present pandemic has imposed on this sector, there are also hidden opportunities. And if we start acting and get our acts together, I think it is very important that this opportunity can be converted into a major strength for the sector by way of creating a very robust infrastructure, both in terms of physical as well as digital. Now, what I mean by physical is that the conventional, the institutes imparting this training and availability of them at different locations, I think there is also a very urgent need to upgrade that. So both upgrading the physical as well as digital landscape of infrastructure would greatly enhance and facilitate, in terms of creating a very robust ecosystem. The second aspect of this ecosystem is the standardization, to my mind. See, today I give a small example that if I need to hire an electrician for attending some, petty jobs in my residence, there is no, available mechanism wherein I can tap those resources. So normally what we do is to seek references from people who know or who have used certain services of these kind of people. But the kind of person who is coming to your house to, attend to this kind of issues or deliver this kind of work, we are not very sure that what is the level of competence, what is the level of skill that he is going to work. I had the fortunate experience of, witnessing some of the best practices in this area beyond the geographical boundaries of this country. And I had seen there that for attending such kind of complaints, the person who comes here, first of all, he is fully equipped with all the tools and tackles. So there is nothing, the right kind of tools which is required to perform this task, he is already having that. Number two, he is a certified, kind of skill holder. That means by looking at those certificates, you can draw a lot of assurance that the job which will be performed by him will be a quality job. And third, sense of ownership, which doesn't require any extraneous supervisors to supervise the job, and the quality of the job that he performs is almost near to perfection. So therefore, what I mean to say by giving this example is that when we talk about these elements, one thing which comes very important is what are the standards which are available in our country, which certifies and which gives this kind of assurance to the user of the services that the job which will be performed is of high standards or of adequate standards. And therefore, for creating those, we have those kind of certifying bodies and available or accrediting bodies available in our country. But I think it's a good start, starting with the skill development councils being set up, and under that umbrella, power sector skill development councils has been set up, and they are working very hard to create this kind of standards. And while creating these standards, it is equally important that we create those contents. So content as well as certification, both combined, will give rise to a standard put into place in this particular respect, so that if you assign a particular job to a person who is going through this process of standardization, you can be rest assured that the quality of the job which will be performed will be of adequate and high standards. So the second important aspect of this ecosystem is, to my mind, is the standardization. And the third one, which is the skill itself, I think it requires a little bit of deep dive, because there is a vast ocean of skill sets which are available, and they are broadly classified in the professional world as technical skills and behavioral skills. So there are certain skill sets which are technical skills or the functional skills, and the rest are behavioral skills. And most people think, and so many a times, they give different nomenclatures to that. Like for technical skills are generally considered to be the hard skills, and the behavioral skills are normally referred to as soft skills. But let me tell you, my understanding goes that what we mean by these hard skills are truly just opposite is true to me, because it is relatively easier to acquire the so-called hard skills or technical skills than the softer skills. So for me, the softer skills are the hard skills, whereas so-called technical or hard skills are relatively much easier to acquire, and thus they are softer. So these are, some of the classifications that we, come across. There are other ways to, distinguish this kind of skill sets when we talk about the technical skills. So essentially, for performing a particular job, the kind of functional knowledge that you are expected to have are broadly put under the technical skills, whereas the people-related skills, the skills which are not directly visible or which are not directly, tangibly measurable, I think, but very, very important from the point of view of actually, the world of work. I think that is what is referred to as a soft skills. So for me, the soft skills are hard and the hard skills are relatively softer. So this is what, I personally believe. And the skills of the future are not the technical or functional skills, because we can either buy these skills or replace these skills by internally developing these competencies. But what is more important is that the kind of behavioral or the softer skills, they require a tremendous amount of effort, in fact, to acquire those kind of skills. Now, there had been a lot of studies done globally about how important these skill sets are, both hard as well as softer skill sets. And I think power sector is also coming under its purview, because most of the skill sets that I will be talking about are equally applicable for power sector also. So there was a study which I was referring to, conducted by, and they had conducted large number of surveys involving various industries across the globe. And finally, they had ranked these skill sets in order of their priorities, as far as not only from the present utility point of view, but also from the future of the skill sets which is required for the future of work. So the most important thing, which is the willingness to be flexible, agile, and adaptable to the changes. Now, this is a skill set which is not only true for the power sector, but it is true for the entire set of organizations in various other industries. So this has been rated as one of the highest skills, followed by time management skills and ability to prioritize, then ability to work effectively in team environment, the ability to communicate effectively in business context. So these are some of these skills, and I was just looking at the top 12 skills out of this list of the skills which have been ranked in order of its priority and usage. I found that out of the top 5, there are 4 skills which are behavioral in nature. The one skills which is, you may say it's a technical in nature, is the analytical skills and the business acumen, technical core capability which is required for that particular job. So what I'm trying to suggest is that the focus of the organizations need to be adequately placed in addition to the efforts made to upgrade the technical or the functional skills on these softer skills, which are going to be really a turning point for the organizations to really move forward. Now, the one of the thing which comes to my mind, and I was very pleasantly surprised to learn that during this pandemic, one thing was very, very obvious, that there is a huge consumption of the digital content in whatever form, whether we are working in the digital way, or whether we are learning through digital way, or whether we are entertaining ourselves, which is again through a digital way of Netflix and the Amazon Prime and things like that. So there is a great involvement of digital technology in our carrying out in our day-to-day functioning. I think that is one positive major change which has been caused due to this pandemic. While there is lot need to be done to fine-tune and to regulate so that the various aspects of using digital technology can be mastered over a period of time. Say, for instance, our exposure to this screen time has been very, very large in all these activities. So what kind of protocol that we need to follow while using this digital technology, how much amount of rest, or what kind of movement periodically, or all other things required to keep us healthy and fit, both mentally as well as physically. I think those are the protocols I'm quite sure would emerge over a period of time. But then talking purely from the skill sets point of view, I think one thing is very important, that accepting the experiential part, which Mr. Vinod Bihari has very rightly said, that when we talk about transfer of the skills, one important element and role which is played by this experiential learning is a very, very great. While we could provide them content, while they can go through the content, they can create a kind of peer-to-peer learning by collaborating with various of their co-learners and other people. But a significant part of this learning and transfer of skill happens through experiential learning. Now, in absence of being remotely at a locations, how do we deal with this aspect while we involve in transferring this kind of skill sets? So some of the ways, I can fully say that it will not 100% take replace the physical experiences, but at least you can give some flavor of these physical experiences by providing them with more immersive way of learning. And I think there comes the role of technology. And we have tried in some limited way in NTPC during my stint. I know that by introducing schemes like, by adopting technology like augmented reality and the virtual reality, which enables a trainer or a trainee to experience that immersive way of learning without actually getting or physically need to be present at that particular locations. But then it is in a very, very initial stage, and it has to travel a long way before it becomes easily accessible, affordable, and matter of common use for most of the learners. I think that is the one way forward which comes to my mind, and I'm quite sure that people will work around this, not only in terms of redefining the job content part of that, but at the same time using technology in terms of making such kind of skill sets easier to be imparted to the learners. In fact, there are a host of new skills which has come into this corporate sector, and one such skill is curiosity. Now, see, these are all, and most of this lies in the domain of the softer skills. Now, if you look into the kind of thing which we were absolutely, there are no method where we impart this kind of skills. Somebody asked me that how do you impart and how do you train a person to be more curious? Because we believe that this is something, curiosity, which largely pertains to, for the children, that they are more curious. But now it has entered into the corporate world as one of the very significant skills, because this is the source for your innovation and creativity to, that acts as a kind of platform or foundation on which these kind of, value system or this kind of attributes will be built up. So like this, I was just going through what kind of newer, softer skill sets which are going to be very, very important for the organizations and for the workforce to actually not only sustain in future, but also in thrive in future. And some of them, I was just looking at it like optimism, generosity. We are all looking at how this COVID times has created a great deal of empathy and compassion, and how important it is for both for the organizations and their workforces. Similarly, the flexibility, teamwork, integrity, time management, I have already mentioned, tenacity, communication, happiness, drive, learning. I think these are ethics. So these are some of the softer skills which are going to play a very important role going forward. And I think the managers of these skills or the people who are involved in imparting these skills and managing these skills and in the business of the skills, they will have to take very serious note of these softer skills and start working and building systems where we will be able to start delivering and imparting these skills for the people. And it is important to note that these are not something which comes with a quick fix solutions, that you undertake this module and you will be able to develop this generosity or optimism and ethical standards in your way of working. But these takes a very long time to develop, and for developing that, one has to create a kind of adequate environment and culture within an organization, which largely trickles down from the top. Because until and unless this happens and driven by the top, this will never get inculcated within an organization. So these kind of softer skills are going to be very important. And very recently, I came across some professional article where I found that Mr. Satya Nadella, he has been trying to impart the skills of growth mindset at Microsoft. Wherever he is going, he is taking classes on how to develop this growth mindset. Now you see, just thinking about it, that how can you inculcate this growth mindset was a matter of quite curiosity for all of us, that how it can be developed. But I think organizations are successfully trying out, recognize the importance of this kind of softer skills, and these softer skills are the foundation, to my mind, for the human happiness. And human happiness is foundation of the employee engagement, productivity, and corporate growth. So these skills are going to be the key success factor for the future. So I hope that these are some of the points which came to my mind and which I thought are going to be important. And power sector, to my mind, is no exceptions, utilizing the potential and the power of this kind of softer skills. So with this, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizers for organizing this webinar and connecting with such a large participants. And once it is over, I will be very happy to take questions if they have any. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.